At the planet's southern pole, there is a continent held in a state of suspended animation, a world sculpted not by earth and water, but by cold and wind. It is a landmass buried beneath a frozen ocean of its own making, a place where the silence is a physical presence and the air is as pure as the day the world was born. This is a realm of profound, elemental power and stark, minimalist beauty. This is Antarctica. To the uninitiated eye, it is an empty canvas, the last great wilderness, a place defined by what it lacks. But this great white desert is not a void. It is an archive, a natural laboratory holding the deepest secrets of our planet's climate and history within its layers of ice. To understand this place is to understand the forces that shape our world. This is a story not of emptiness, but of discovery, a testament to the human spirit of inquiry that draws a small, dedicated community to the most challenging environment on Earth. This is the story of life at the bottom of the world. Antarctica has no permanent residents, no indigenous population. Its inhabitants are a rotating cast of scientists, engineers, technicians, and support staff who live and work in a collection of research stations scattered across the vast continent. These stations are humanity's most remote outposts, small, self-contained towns that function like islands of warmth and life in a sea of ice. Life here is an exercise in structure and cooperation. In an environment where a simple mistake can have severe consequences, daily routines are not just a matter of efficiency, they are a matter of survival. The communities that form in these isolated settings are unique. Nationalities and backgrounds blend into a single, functional society, united by a shared mission. At a larger base, like the United States' McMurdo Station, a summer population of over 1,000 people can create a bustling, town-like atmosphere with dormitories, a coffee shop, and even a bowling alley. In smaller, more remote outposts, like Palmer Station, on the peninsula, or during the long winter, the population can shrink to just a few dozen. In this profound isolation, a powerful sense of community is forged. Everyone has a role, and every role is essential. The scientist studying atmospheric chemistry is just as vital as the cook preparing the day's meals or the mechanic keeping the snow vehicles running. This interdependence creates a remarkably flat social structure. A world-renowned physicist and a first-year dishwasher will often share the same cleaning duties, known as house mouse. This shared responsibility, the understanding that everyone must contribute to the collective good, is the bedrock of station life. It is a society built on a foundation of mutual dependence and shared responsibility, where status is derived not from one's title, but from one's competence and willingness to contribute. The station itself is a marvel of engineering, designed for efficiency and survival. Buildings are often elevated on stilts to prevent snowdrifts from accumulating and are sometimes connected by heated corridors to protect residents from the elements. Every system, from power generation to waste management, is self-contained, a closed loop of life support, in a world that offers none. The arrival of new personnel each season is a carefully managed process. It begins with the issuance of extreme cold weather gear, a multi-layered uniform that is the first line of defense against the elements. This is followed by intensive training on safety, environmental protocols, and the specific routines of the station. For many, the first few days are a period of acclimatization, not just to the cold, but to the high altitude of the polar plateau, which can cause shortness of breath and fatigue. A unique lexicon develops, a shorthand language of the ice. Freshies for fresh fruit and vegetables, beaked for feeling unwell from the altitude, and winter over for the hardy souls who stay for the long, dark night. The people who choose to come to Antarctica are drawn by a unique sense of purpose. They are geologists, biologists, glaciologists, astronomers, and climate scientists, all seeking to understand the fundamental systems that govern our planet. Antarctica is a natural laboratory of unparalleled value. Its ice sheet is a frozen archive of Earth's climate history, holding air bubbles and particles from hundreds of thousands of years ago. By drilling deep into the ice and extracting these cores, scientists can literally look back in time, analyzing past atmospheric composition and temperature to better understand our current climate trajectory. The process is painstaking. A deep field camp is established on the ice, a collection of tents and temporary structures hundreds of kilometers from the nearest station. A team will live and work here for months, drilling around the clock to extract a single, continuous core that might be over 3 kilometers long. Each segment is carefully logged, packaged, and transported in frozen conditions back to laboratories around the world, where it will be studied for decades. The clear, dry air of the high polar plateau, combined with the long winter darkness, offers a perfect window to the cosmos. At the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, astronomers operate massive telescopes that peer into the deepest reaches of space, studying the faint afterglow of the Big Bang and searching for elusive particles called neutrinos, with detectors buried deep within the ice. Biologists, meanwhile, study the continent's unique life forms, from the vast penguin colonies on the coast to the microscopic extremophiles that survive in the frozen, arid landscapes of the McMurdo Dry Valleys, an environment so alien it is often used as an analogue for Mars. They study how krill, the tiny crustaceans that form the base of the Southern Ocean food web, are responding to changing ocean temperatures, a critical question for the health of the entire planetary ecosystem. Alongside the scientists is a dedicated team of support staff who make the research possible. They are the electricians, plumbers, pilots, doctors, and logistics coordinators who build and maintain the infrastructure of life in this extreme environment. They are the heavy equipment operators who carve runways from the snow and keep the station from being buried by drifts. They are the network engineers who manage the satellite links that are the community's only connection to the outside world. They are the backbone of the entire operation, ensuring that the stations remain safe, warm, and functional. A day in the life of a mechanic might involve thawing a frozen engine block with a specialized heater for hours before any repairs can even begin. A cook must be an expert in long-term inventory management, planning menus months in advance based on what is available in the vast freezer stores. For everyone here, the motivation is a blend of professional dedication and a desire for an experience that is truly extraordinary, a chance to contribute to global knowledge while living in one of the most challenging and magnificent places on the planet. The daily routine in an Antarctic station is highly structured, a necessary anchor in an environment that lacks the usual temporal cues of sunrise and sunset. The workday is typically long and focused. For scientists, this might mean spending hours outdoors in extreme cold, collecting samples, or maintaining experiments. Before any fieldwork can begin, there are rigorous preparations. Safety briefings are mandatory. Gear is meticulously checked and double-checked. Every piece of equipment, from the GPS unit to the spare batteries, must be accounted for. Communication protocols are strict. Regular check-ins with the station are a lifeline. The weather governs all activity. Stations operate on a 3-tier system of weather conditions. Condition 3 is normal, allowing for routine outdoor work. Condition 2 is declared when winds pick up or visibility drops, restricting travel and requiring extra precautions. Condition 1 is the most severe, a full-blown blizzard where visibility is near zero and winds can be strong enough to knock a person off their feet. During Condition 1, no one is permitted to leave the shelter of the main buildings. The station goes into lockdown, and life is confined to the indoors until the storm passes. For the support staff, the work is a constant cycle of maintenance and problem-solving. In Antarctica, the cold is a relentless adversary. It makes metal brittle, freezes fuel lines, and puts an immense strain on any piece of machinery. Vehicles need constant attention. Power generators must be flawlessly maintained, and buildings require regular checks to ensure they remain sealed against the elements. Logistics are a monumental task, involving the careful tracking and management of every single item, from scientific equipment to food supplies. Every task, no matter how mundane it might seem elsewhere, takes on a heightened importance here. In this environment, diligence and precision are not just professional virtues, they are essential for the well-being of the entire community. Everyday living in Antarctica is shaped by the realities of extreme remoteness. With very few exceptions, all food and supplies are brought in by ship or plane during the short summer window. For the rest of the year, the stations are on their own. This means that the vast majority of food is frozen, canned, or dried. A station's food supply is planned with meticulous detail, often more than a year in advance. Every calorie is accounted for. The arrival of the annual supply vessel is a major event. The entire station mobilizes for the offload, often forming a human chain to move boxes of frozen food from the cargo hold to the station's freezers, a race against time before the ship must depart. Fresh fruit and vegetables, known affectionately as freshies, are a rare and celebrated luxury, often arriving with the first flights of the season and consumed with great enthusiasm. To supplement the stored food and provide a crucial psychological boost, larger stations like McMurdo and South Pole maintain hydroponic greenhouses. In the midst of a sterile world of white and blue, these small rooms are oases of vibrant green. The sight, smell, and taste of freshly grown lettuce, herbs, and tomatoes in the middle of the polar winter is a powerful tonic for the spirit. The warmth, the humidity, and the smell of living plants provide a sensory escape from the cold, dry world outside. The kitchen is the heart of the station, and the dining hall is its social center. Mealtimes are a crucial part of the daily routine, a time for the entire community to gather, relax, and connect. The chefs are some of the most valued members of the team, tasked with the challenge of creating varied and nutritious meals from a limited pantry of stored ingredients. Their work is vital not just for physical health, but for morale. A well-prepared meal, a freshly baked loaf of bread, or a special dessert can be a powerful comfort, a reminder of home in a place that is anything but. Planning is paramount. Every meal is calculated and every ingredient is accounted for, a constant exercise in resource management at the edge of the world. Waste is also carefully managed. Nothing is left behind. All trash, recycling, and human waste is sorted, packaged, and shipped back off the continent for disposal, a massive logistical effort that underscores the commitment to preserving Antarctica's pristine environment. Water, the most basic necessity, is also a product of technology and effort. At inland stations, it is created by melting vast quantities of snow in a snow melter, a process that consumes significant energy. Coastal stations can use reverse osmosis to desalinate seawater. In either case, it is a precious resource that is used with care. To live in Antarctica is to be a temporary guest in a world of immense and powerful nature. The landscape is a dominant, ever-present force. The sheer scale of the ice sheets and glaciers is difficult to comprehend. Mountains are buried to their peaks in ice, and vast shelves of floating ice, like the Ross Ice Shelf, are the size of entire countries. The beauty is stark, minimalist, and profound. The air is so clear and clean that distances are deceptive, and the silence is so deep that it feels like a physical presence. The only sounds are the whisper of the wind, the distant crack of a calving glacier, or the crunch of your own boots on the hard-packed snow. Wildlife is sparse but iconic. Along the coastal regions, particularly on the Antarctic Peninsula, life thrives. Colonies of penguins, adelie, chinstrap, and gentoo create bustling, noisy communities. Their calls and squabbles are a stark contrast to the silence of the interior. The emperor penguin, the largest of all penguins, has a life cycle of incredible endurance, breeding during the brutal Antarctic winter. The male incubates a single egg on his feet for 2 months of darkness and blizzards without eating, while the female is at sea. Seals, such as the Weddell and craybeater, are a common sight, resting on the sea ice. The Weddell seal is a true master of this environment, capable of diving to depths of 600 meters and holding its breath for over an hour. Whales patrol the nutrient-rich waters of the Southern Ocean. All outdoor activity is carefully planned and controlled. Strict environmental protocols are in place to protect this fragile ecosystem. The Madrid Protocol to the Antarctic Treaty designates the continent as a natural reserve and sets forth stringent rules. There are designated paths and exclusion zones around wildlife colonies. The rule is simple: observe, but do not disturb. Travel away from the station is a serious undertaking, requiring specialized equipment, survival training, and constant communication. It is a landscape that commands respect, a place that reminds its human inhabitants of their small and temporary place in the natural world. For recreation, personnel might be allowed to cross-country ski or hike on marked trails, or visit the historic huts left by early explorers, preserved in the cold, dry air like museums. These visits are a powerful connection to the past, a tangible link to the men who first faced this continent with little more than wool clothing and iron will. Transportation to and within Antarctica is a significant logistical challenge, defining the rhythm of life and the profound sense of isolation. For most of the year, the continent is completely cut off from the rest of the world. The primary lifeline is the austral summer, a brief window from roughly October to February when the weather is stable enough for travel. Specially equipped aircraft, often fitted with skis, are the main mode of transport for people, flying into runways carved from snow or blue ice. The flight itself is the first step in the transition to this new world, a journey of many hours over the vast, empty Southern Ocean. Icebreaker ships are the workhorses for cargo, undertaking long, slow journeys through the treacherous waters of the Weddell Sea and other regions to deliver the fuel, food, and equipment needed for the entire year. These ships are marvels of engineering, designed to smash their way through sea ice that can be several meters thick. Their arrival is a major event, marking the start of a frantic period of offloading that can last for days. Once on the continent, travel is done with a fleet of specialized snow vehicles. Small snowmobiles are used for local trips around the station. For longer journeys, there are larger, tracked vehicles like the Piston Bully or the Heglins, designed to traverse the difficult, uneven terrain of the ice sheet. For those who choose to winter over, the departure of the last flight or ship marks the beginning of a long period of total isolation. This moment is a significant psychological turning point. For the next 8 to 9 months, there is no way in and no way out. This is the true meaning of remoteness, a complete physical separation from the rest of humanity. The most extreme form of travel is the overland traverse, a convoy of heavy tractors pulling sleds loaded with living modules, fuel, and scientific gear. These traverses can last for months, covering thousands of kilometers of the high plateau, establishing scientific sites or resupplying inland stations like the South Pole. Life on a traverse is a state of isolation within isolation, a tiny, slow-moving community in an endless world of white. The psychological landscape of Antarctica is as significant as the physical one. Coping with months of isolation, confinement, and the absence of familiar comforts requires a particular kind of resilience. This is why all participants in the Antarctic program undergo extensive psychological screening. They are evaluated for their ability to handle stress, work in a team, and live in close quarters for an extended period. Life in a small, enclosed community can be intense. Social dynamics are amplified, small courtesies become important, and personal space is a valued commodity. Routine is a powerful psychological tool, providing structure and a sense of normalcy in an abnormal environment. Stations are designed with this in mind, equipped with gyms, libraries, movie rooms, and lounges to provide outlets for recreation and relaxation. Hobbies are crucial. People learn to play the guitar, take up photography, write novels, or engage in intricate craft projects. These personal pursuits are essential for maintaining a sense of individuality and purpose outside of work. Social events, holiday celebrations, themed dinners, movie nights are organized to break the monotony and strengthen community bonds. There are traditions unique to this environment, like the 40 Below Club at the South Pole, where individuals briefly brave the extreme cold after a sauna. The most important celebration of the year for the winter overcrew is Midwinter's Day on June 21st. It is the Antarctic equivalent of a major holiday, a tradition dating back to the heroic age. It marks the halfway point of the long winter, a time for a grand feast, the exchange of handmade gifts, and a moment of connection with other stations across the continent, who all celebrate on the same day. Communication with the outside world is a vital link. While modern technology allows for internet access and phone calls, the connection can be slow and unreliable, a constant reminder of the immense distance. For those wintering over, these digital links are a precious connection to family and friends, a lifeline to the world they have temporarily left behind. The experience forges deep friendships, built on a foundation of shared experience that is impossible to replicate anywhere else. Life at the South Pole is governed by a rhythm of light and darkness that is alien to most of the world. The austral summer is a season of perpetual daylight. For months, the sun does not set. It simply circles the sky, a constant, unwavering presence. This creates a period of intense activity. With 24 hours of usable daylight, work schedules can be extended and the station buzzes with energy. But it can also be disorienting, disrupting the body's natural circadian rhythms. Blackout curtains are essential, and maintaining a regular sleep schedule becomes a conscious act of discipline. Then, as the season turns, the sun sinks lower, finally dipping below the horizon for the last time. This event is often marked by a sunset dinner, a celebration to bid farewell to the light. This marks the beginning of the long polar night. For the next 6 months, the world is plunged into a deep and profound darkness, broken only by the moon, the stars, and the ethereal glow of the aurora australis. Life turns inward. The pace slows. The station becomes a self-contained world, a bubble of light and warmth against the vast, cold dark. This period of winter brings a unique sense of tranquility and introspection. The clarity of the sky is astonishing. With no light pollution, the Milky Way is a brilliant, textured band across the heavens, and the southern lights dance with an intensity seen nowhere else. The return of the sun months later is an equally significant event, celebrated with a sunrise party, marking the end of the long night and the imminent return of the outside world. This extreme cycle can affect the body's physiology, leading to what is known as polar T3 syndrome, where thyroid hormone levels can fluctuate, impacting mood and energy. To counteract the psychological effects of the darkness, stations are often equipped with full-spectrum light boxes to simulate daylight and help regulate sleep cycles. So why do people choose this life? Why do they leave the comfort and convenience of the modern world for the hardship and isolation of the coldest place on Earth? The reasons are as varied as the individuals themselves, but they are often rooted in a deep sense of purpose and a thirst for the extraordinary. For the scientists, it is the pursuit of knowledge, the chance to contribute to our collective understanding of the planet at a critical time in its history. The data collected here on climate change, atmospheric conditions, and ocean health is not abstract. It is vital for the future of our world. For many, it is the allure of adventure, the challenge of testing one's own limits in an environment that demands the best of them. It is the opportunity to live in a place of unparalleled, pristine beauty, to witness phenomena like the Southern Lights, and to experience a silence and solitude that has all but vanished from the rest of the world. It is a chance to live a simplified, more deliberate life, free from the constant noise and distraction of modern society. And for everyone who spends time here, it is the experience of being part of a unique and close-knit community, of forming bonds and making memories in a place that few will ever have the chance to see. It is the feeling of being part of something meaningful, something larger than oneself, a link in a chain of human endeavor that stretches back to the heroic age of exploration. Many who come for a single season find themselves drawn back again and again, becoming part of a global family of ice people, connected by a shared experience that the outside world can never fully comprehend. Life in Antarctica exists in a state of delicate balance between human ingenuity and the overwhelming power of nature, between the drive for scientific discovery and a profound respect for a fragile environment, between intense community and absolute solitude. It is a place that reshapes one's perspective on the world and on one's place within it. Here, life is measured not in the frantic pace of the outside world, but in the slow, steady rhythm of the seasons, in the successful completion of a day's work, in the warmth of a shared meal, and in the simple, profound beauty of the ice. It is a testament to the human capacity to adapt, to explore, and to endure, a quiet life lived at the very edge of our world. It is a place where humanity can see itself reflected in the vast, empty canvas of the ice, small, fragile, yet capable of extraordinary things when working together. And in the deep silence of the polar night, one can feel the pulse of the planet itself, a humbling and unforgettable experience.